Hello, this is New Caribou, Sir David the Bard. I just got reminded this morning about real estate and house hunting in Utah. If you want to come to Utah or you're trying to change to another house, there's some Mormon things that go on. The way the grass grows in Utah has something to do with the Mormon church. The way the trees lean, every damn thing you do has to do with this cult. It's terrible. It's terrible. Now, before I get started on the real estate, let me put in here that Romney is talking, and I guess this is political. Romney is saying 23 million people out of work, and the worst recession since the Depression. Utah, unemployment, 5.8%. His home state, 5.8%. And this is a Mormon going around and accusing other people that are totally unemployed. Well, Utah's doing okay. Now, back to the real estate. There are some things that go on in Utah that don't go on anywhere else. Let me first start with older homes in Utah. Now, some of the homes in Utah, the older ones, are brick, mostly brick. And in Utah, I think they've got to go down 4 feet for a foundation because of the permafrost. Well, if you're going down 4 feet, you might as well go down another 2 feet and have a basement. So most houses in Utah have a basement. Now, one of the houses I bought in Utah years ago, Danites, years ago, years and years, when I was at BYU, in fact it was when I was in Orem, Utah, it was a nice house, but it had a crack in the foundation that ran from the top of the foundation to the floor. And when it rained in the basement. No disclosure, they never told me that. I was stupid, I didn't look at it and say, hey, what the hell, look at that crack. I just bought it, and I got screwed. I bought another house in Pleasant Grove, Utah. It was really old. It was like 180 years old. And it was made of stone. Well, there was a welfare lady living in it, and she wouldn't move out. And she had, I don't know, 4 or 5 kids, and she wouldn't move out. So we asked her, could we replace the windows in the house and the doors? And she said, sure. So she went off to work, and we removed all the windows and all of the doors. Well, we got home, and she was gone. But the damage, it wasn't gone. Carpets, sinks, toilets. Ah, welcome to Mormon country. So that cost us several $1,000s to refurbish the house, and then sold that at a loss. The guy that rented my house in Orem that had the crack on the wall seemed to be a nice guy, and he was a bricklayer, and he had a family, 3 or 4 kids, and he moved in. And after he paid the first and last month's rent, he never paid a damn dime since. Ow! And then trying to evict him, oh, in Utah, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to try to evict somebody in Utah. Well, anyway, that was some of my experience there. Then I bought another house in Riverton, Utah. And it was owned by Clyde. Clyde. Now, you're all too young. You don't remember Clyde in the song, the camel named Clyde. Anyway, Clyde said, $4,000 a month, no problem. You can have the house. And so we sat at the kitchen table, and my son and I were signing for this house, and we didn't know that Clyde was going to take the rent and take the rent. He never paid the mortgage company. So I was downstairs, so I bought a new fridge for downstairs, a new sink, and I fixed up the shower enclosure downstairs, and the floor, and I made some nice repairs, and it was a nice house. Well, Clyde was one of the masterminds of the housing collapse in Utah. My friend Shane bought a house from Clyde and got screwed too. This is Clyde the Mormon. Oh my God. Well, anyway, our house in Riverton went down the poop chute, and we lost thousands of dollars again. And the Mormons ran away with the spoon. Isn't there something about the cow and the moon ran away with the spoon? I don't remember. Anyway. Be careful when you buy a house in Utah. Now, we bought another house. We're just stupid ass people. And I was sitting upstairs. It was raining. Suddenly the water from the rain outside came into the house through the drywall. And I said to myself, now I don't have a construction license, but I don't think that's right. That's soaked the carpet. Well, it wasn't on the disclosure. It wasn't on the disclosure. So in Utah, be careful. Be careful. If you've got a member of the ward selling their house and their elders quorum president is the realtor, bend over and kiss your butt goodbye. I did finally have a home inspection, and that was honest here in Utah, and they hate that because they bring up everything that doesn't work. Which was the refrigerated air conditioning. $6,000 I had to pay to be cool. Now, a lot of people look at me and say, that's a good deal, but you ought to get your money back. You don't look that cool. Damn. So anyway, here's the tricks to buying a house in Utah. The basements, they will advertise the basements as a mother-in-law apartment or an extra apartment. Well, you think, gee, I get $500 or $600 a month for that, and my bill is $900 to $1,000 on the mortgage, so half of it can be paid by the basement. So you buy it, and you decide to rent the basement, and then you find out that the basement doesn't conform to building codes. And in most towns, even Provo and Orem, Salt Lake, I don't care where you go, Davis County, Weber County, doesn't matter. The Mormons have always added on, they've enclosed their garage, and they call it a second living room in the real estate ad. Well, there's no place to park your car, and when the city and the county get around to it, they're going to come over and knock on your door and say, take that shit off the front of the garage. It's not part of the house. And you didn't get a permit for this. There's no permit on record for this. So the new owner, he pays and she pays. Now, the basement apartments, there's something else. They're non-conforming. Many of them don't have walls or ceilings, especially in Provo. The BYU students get totally screwed. In fact, they were so screwed, BYU finally had to have a approved housing unit, that the students were not allowed to be in some of these hellholes. No heater, no vents, no air conditioning, spider, cockroaches, snakes, but $100 a month rent and no kitchen, just a hot plate. So be careful in Utah. Don't count that basement as shit. Count it for storing your lawnmower, not $500 a month. Now, here's a few more tricks. When you buy a house in Utah, when you walk into the house, if you see temple Mormon pictures of the owners on the wall, you're buying a Mormon house. Or if you see a triple combination, they haven't thrown away the Book of Abraham yet, it would be a double combination. But the triple combination, kind of hidden on the side wall or by a desk, you're buying a Mormon house. Now that may, for Mormons, go, well, there's a nice spirit in this house. You don't see all of the damage behind the door upstairs where the twins jumped out of the crib and beat the shit out of the drywall. They opened the door. They put bread in the oven so you have a fresh bread smell. And the wife will go, oh, this is a nice home, honey. I really like this home. And then, again, you don't see the swamp cooler up on the top, and it's ruined a 20-year roof and leaked down through the drywall, and it's hidden somewhere. So be careful of curtains, be careful of where furniture is placed, be careful, because the Mormons will put in electrical plugs that don't meet code. They'll put in showers, they'll put in bathtubs. You got to be careful. A lot of people criticize me because I spent so much money on converting in our basement, Danites, a second bathroom upstairs in our basement, $8,000. Well, I had it all done by licensed plumbers and by code and by permit. And same way with the air conditioning. Be careful. The Mormons don't pay for anything. They'll tell you it's certified. They'll tell you that furnace is only 3 years old, and when it quits, you decide to have it fixed. It was put in 1953, and maybe the tag on it was switched. Now, I don't want to go quite that far, but omission and commission of lies is common practice in the Mormon Church. Usually, the owners of homes in Utah are totally upside down. So they're going to hammer you on the price. So if it's $100,000 or $200,000 house, they're asking $150,000 or $250,000 because they're trying to bail out from paying tithing. Be careful of any renovations that have been done, because none of them, well, I'm exaggerating, most of them are not done by code or by licensed contractors. They're done by the Elders Quorum president. So when you move in and you go to lock the bathroom door, and your first day there, the bathroom door falls off. God, call the bishop. Call the bishop. Now, I bought another home. Now that I think about it, from another Mormon. I bought this home from two attorneys, and they weren't Mormons. They weren't Mormons. And they had bought it on contract, which means there was no title search. And they bought it from my Elders Quorum president. This was in Thousand Oaks, California. And my Elders Quorum president, he hammered us to get to the temple, to be honest in our business dealing. Don't let your temple recommend expire, and pay your money in tithing to the Lord doesn't need it, but the authorities do, because they don't have a job. So I buy this beautiful house, very, very pretty house, and I go to close it. And they did a title search. And lo and behold, the Elders Quorum president, when he owned that house, had a $40,000 lien on my new house. The attorneys were stupid. They didn't do a title search, and I did. And I couldn't close the house all the way until that $40,000 lien had been paid. Well, I went to the bishop. I went to the stake president. You know, they bury this shit underneath the carpet. He's an Elders Quorum president. He's crooked as a dog's back leg. The church totally defended him and defended him. I put somewhere else, and I know 600 videos is a bitch to go through, but I couldn't get the stake president to do shit. And he's the one that calls the Elders Quorum presidents, not the bishops. It's the stake presidents. So anyway, I had a nice car. I had a white, gold, new Z28 Camaro. I like cars and beautiful women. What's wrong with me? So, because I spent a lot of money on both. So anyway, I wrote on my new Camaro, BYU, or not BYU, it's Thousand Oaks. In fact, it was Newberry Park. Newberry Park, stake president, dishonest. I put it on both doors, the trunk, and the hood. And he lived in a nice tract of homes. And I went over and parked that damn car right in front of his house. Right in front of his house. Locked it. And I knew I could leave it there 72 hours and then move it 12 inches and then leave it another 72. And he knew that too. I went home. It wasn't an hour. It wasn't an hour. And I get this. And I say, what is wanted? I'm so used to saying that in the Los Angeles temple. Anyway, the high priest, corn president, showed up, and he knocked on the door, and I said, and I liked the guy. He was okay. He's from Hawaii. And he said, I'm here to talk about a car wash. I said, come on in. So he came in. I told him the shit that's going on. He says, I think you're right. That $40,000 lien ought to be removed. Well, my elders quorum president had quit when this shit came up, and he moved to Utah, so the church says, well, that's under the Utah authorities, not ours. And I said, well, the car stays. Well, they decided to bow their heads and say yes. They tracked the bastard down in Utah, because Utah, no Mormon in Utah. Oh, I'm exaggerating. Most Utah Mormons are in Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, Amway, New Life, knew this, knew that, and I knew you'd buy and I would never have to work. Well, he was in Utah. They caught him, and he paid the 40 grand, and I closed my house. I haven't had a lot of good luck buying houses in Utah. So I'm just telling you, watch for the Book of Mormons, watch for the temple pictures, and if you go into the child's room, and there's 3 cribs, it's Mormon. It's a Mormon house. If you go in and there's 6 cribs and 2 of them are stacked on top of the others, you know it's a Mormon house. Also, when you open up the pantry, you may see Deseret food in there, that they're on welfare, and the house may be in foreclosure. And if you go out and look in the shed, you'll see number 10 cans, which are bigger than my head. They're like the safe, number 10 cans of food for food storage, that they're Mormons. They're Mormons. And if you look at their car in the driveway and it has 19 little stick people on the back of the van and a little dog showing how many people lived in that damn house, that's a sign too. So the carpets will usually be dirty. The walls will have, you know, kids' fingerprints all over them. The bathroom doors won't lock. The swamp coolers have ruined the roof. And the garage door opener probably doesn't work because there's a playroom in the garage. And the kids were hanging on it, you know, going back and forth, going, oh, Dad, this is cool. He goes, I know. I bought a 2-bedroom house and we needed 6. That's why 19 of you are out here. So anyway, be careful of the Utah housing market. There are some good deals around because a lot of the Mormons that overextended during the housing crunch have sold some nice homes. But watch out for the older homes in Utah. They don't meet code, and they don't meet anybody's standard, and that's why the Mormons are dropping them on non-member and unsuspecting other Mormons. Thanks.